Hello, I am Jaime Elizondo, and you are all welcome to this podcast. It makes me very happy, and I am excited to see more young people getting involved in this fascinating world of regenerating the land with livestock. You see, farming without livestock is not sustainable and becomes dependent on costly inputs very fast. If we are serious about improving our land's fertility, its natural productivity, we need to include livestock in our land, and livestock that have their grazing correctly managed by us. That's how the best soils in the world were created by herbivores grazing grasslands, and the soil beneath it are our best soils nowadays. Before we start, I want to remind you that today I will be holding our free masterclass, Triple Your Stocking Rate with Large Pastures and Thriving Livestock. It is time to transform your property with the large pastures in fertile soil created by thriving livestock. This event is your ticket to making informed decisions that will revolutionize your graze livestock enterprise. Prepare to witness improvements in both land and health and productivity. Set your spot by registering at www.rwranching.com/masterclass. We are having a class today at 6 p.m. Central Time and tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Time. So make sure you register to get the Zoom link and be able to participate in the live Q&A session. Once again, the link is www.rwranching.com/masterclass. Today, I want to explain and debunk another common myth that people believe. Some people are afraid that under the total grazing program with longer rest periods, their livestock will be grazing over mature grass all the time, and nothing could be further from the truth. All that I will be talking about today and most any day is considering a high to very high stocking rate, which is what determines profits on a ranch or a farm. If we do not maximize our profits, we are doomed as the cost of inputs keeps going up higher than the prices of livestock products. Increasing your stocking rate up to double compared to continuous grazing is not very much. Why? Because continuous grazing is absolutely the worst type of management regarding grass productivity and soil health. We need much more and we offer much more. The first thing is to remember that the total grazing program is a program, not an isolated grazing event, and consider the whole year, multi-year, and every day of the year. But it would be foolish to have our livestock grazing over mature grass in the green season, right? The green season is when our livestock can and should have the best performance and body condition. So no, under the total grazing program, we do not graze over mature grass all the time, and I am going to explain. One of our main objectives is to minimize overgrazing, which is defined as regrazing a plant before it has fully recovered, and that weakens the roots. By minimizing overgrazing, we create strong and deep roots full of energy reserves that allows us to greatly increase grass or forage productivity. Then, this higher productivity achieved by the lush and leafy regrowth will create better soil fertility. You see, we know that plants create soil, but we need to consider that green leaves create energy by photosynthesis, while stems consume energy by respiring. The energy left in the plant after subtracting the energy consumed by the stems respiring is the energy left for plant productivity and to improve the soil. And we know that increasing organic matter in our soils increases its fertility and productivity, right? Yes, but we need to take it a little further. You see, there are two types of organic matter. One is fast cycling, like crop residues that only last from a few months to a few years, and there is slow cycling organic matter that can last for over 100 years. It is this last type of organic matter, slow cycling organic matter, that is bound to minerals that gives our soils its true fertility and is what most farmers have been mining their soils of. Now we know how to rebuild the levels of slow cycling organic matter or humus in our soils. Did you know that all of the world's best soils were created under grasslands with herbivores? Yes, this is true. But how can we recreate those conditions that happened a long time ago before man? By implementing the total grazing program along with adapted genetics and selection, of course. But many people need to understand a little more about what this program is about. And I understand that with many other people bringing objections to this discussion table. If you are one of my students or have listened to my previous podcasts, you may remember how other myths have been debunked, like total grazing doesn't leave enough residual to protect the soil. In that podcast, I explained how we leave ample residual to protect the soil surface, as we have a much higher pre-grazing mass by only grazing fully recovered plants. And how close together desirable plants per square yard with strong and deep roots protect the soil from erosion much better than litter. Then in my last podcast, I address another myth that says if I graze too hard, I will degrade my land. Because in the total grazing program, we minimize overgrazing by only grazing fully recovered plants. We produce much more per acre, and our forage plants' roots are deeper and stronger than under selective grazing. I explained how we increase grass productivity by grazing fully recovered forage plants closer to the ground, which gives a much higher leaves to stem ratio in the regrowth, and how this higher production of leaves per acre is better not only for higher grass productivity and soil improvement, but also for your livestock performance, as leaves have much higher digestibility than stems. I also explained how all that I was talking about refer to a high to very high stocking rate, which determines profits on a farm or ranch. Now, we will address the myth that says under the total grazing program with longer rest periods, my livestock will be grazing over mature grass. Wow, all those objections that people make up. Let me explain. When you implement the total grazing program to greatly increase your grass productivity while minimizing overgrazing at very high stocking rates, you will experience that in the green season, grass growth greatly exceeds your livestock capacity to keep up with, right? Okay, this means that you will have excess growth of grass in that green season. It doesn't make any sense to have your livestock consuming overmature grass when everything is green and growing, right? No, we need our livestock to consume as much green grass as possible to get the best performance possible. But we need them to be also in optimal health so that they can express their best performance and conversion efficiency. You see, most grazing programs that use selective grazing tell ranchers or farmers to try to keep up with the excess growth by only grazing the tops. I'm going to repeat it because this is true and you can see it. Most grazing programs that use selective grazing tell ranchers and farmers to try to keep up with the excess growth by only grazing the tops. They say this will stop the grass from producing a seed head. What? Like if our main objective was to stop grass from producing a seed head? No, we need to go much further. We need to imagine what is happening underground, at the roots, not only what we see above soil surface. So what will happen when you follow that advice? To graze the tops and come back faster. First, your livestock will get scours in the early spring when fiber is lacking in the spring growth. Then, when they make a fast round over all your property and paddocks, they will come and regraze the first paddock, right? Well, I am sorry, but that may cause overgrazing of that first paddock if you come back fast enough after selective grazing the tops of the rest of your paddocks. And because you start grazing when the grass is not fully recovered, when you start in the early spring, you are incurring in overgrazing, shortening the roots. To make matters worse, as the season advances, grass growth starts to slow down and you start consuming your grass lower each rotation. That's selective grazing. That's what we should not do. No. Let me go back. To make matters worse, as the season advances, grass growth starts to slow down and you start consuming your grass lower on each rotation. That is the exact definition of overgrazing. Regrazing a plant before it is fully recovered in roots energy reserves. What I just described is a typical rotational selective grazing program. And you may say, if selective grazing is so bad for the plant and for the land, how come they get better results than under continuous grazing? And I can answer that. They are comparing to the very worst type of grazing management possible, continuous grazing or set stalking. Under selective rotational grazing, they give more rest to their paddocks than under continuous grazing. And that is better than no rest. But under the total grazing program, we always give adequate recovery periods to our grasses by minimizing overgrazing and creating a large area of stockpile grass to use as a buffer when grass growth slows down to avoid overgrazing. Implementing the total grazing program can increase your grass productivity up to 5 times just by minimizing overgrazing and increasing your harvest efficiency when grazing. In the green season, we maintain your grass quality for the size of your herd or flock so that it does not go mature. And on the rest of your property, you stockpile to use part of it as a buffer to use when your grass growth slows down. And the rest, you save for winter and dry seasons to save on hay. Sounds good? Well, we are going to cover this in the masterclass and share with you how you can implement the total grazing program in your operation for this coming spring. Now is really the best time to implement this program because you will get the most benefit right from the start. And in the dry or winter season, you will be getting even better results. Today, we have the masterclass, Triple Your Stocking Rate with Lush Pastures and Thriving Livestock. This class is free and it is live via Zoom. You have two options to choose from. One is today, Tuesday, February the 27th at 6 p.m. Central Time, and the next one is tomorrow, Wednesday, February 28th at 12 p.m. Central Time. So sign up to save your seat at www.rwranching.com/masterclass, and I will send you the Zoom link so you do not miss it. It truly will change how you see your grazing and how you can build more soil, more fertile, and more abundant leafy forage. So make sure you register to get the Zoom link to be able to participate in the live Q&A session at the end. Once again, the link is www.rwranching.com/masterclass. See you later.